Hello, and welcome to Sprangboro Sessions, episode number 51. Well, that's awkward. So, I am Jamie Dare, and this is my friend Ty Bigger,
What's going on, everybody?
Die!
and this is Ty's friend TJ.
That's me.
Um,
Hi,
yes.
friend TJ.
I'm just here so I don't get fined.
I'm just here so I don't get fined. So I don't get tied. Yeah. So, today's 4
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
2021. Yesterday, big happy birthday to my dad, Dan Donch. Today has been a nice laid back day for myself. Spent most of it this morning working on mixing because the band was over yesterday, Oorah, or whatever they call it, and we recorded 4 songs. 3 of them being originals. One of them was a cover for the song There Was This Girl by some country singer guy. Something Green. I could look.
Dan Green?
No, we played all the time. I should totally know this. That's actually really
Tom
funny.
Green?
No, what the hell is his name? Oh, this is awkward. I played 100 times. I guess that's why I misplaced it.
What's the name of the song?
Listen,
I can't think of it off the top of my
you
head.
keep your Google to yourself. I'm almost done.
Keep your Google to yourself.
You always liked my Google, don't lie.
Riley Green. Thank you. And,
Riley Green.
yes, but we recorded 3 of our originals. It was really fun. We got to do that, get those songs going. We recorded back in October area, if you remember, but we weren't at full force then. We were down a guitar player at the time, but he was here yesterday, so we were able to make do with the time, and Mikey might come over, and we just recorded some songs. It's awesome. And then getting to listen back
Nice,
to
man.
him is even more cool. Ty, if you want to hear them, I will send them to you.
Absolutely. Yeah, you can send it my way.
I will
Like
email
to
them
check
to
them
you.
out.
But yeah, so obviously what we did was just recorded basically like a live track. We just hooked everything up, mic'd everything up, got the easiest setup and the best sound we could for the time that we had, and then we recorded, and then I deleted one of the songs that we played by accident, so we had to record it again. Because sometimes you're the bull, sometimes you're the sock.
Sometimes you're the stop.
Either way, it was a learning experience for me, and it worked out really well. So yeah, it was really cool. We got a couple more songs down, so now we're just gonna keep working on them. Just trying to get a rough recording of them, so we have something to listen to, and then we're gonna pick them all apart and build them up from the ground up and get them all recorded. So I'm hoping by the end of the year we should have at least 12 or 14 songs on an album for streaming and all that. Because that would be what it's all been about.
Oh, yeah.
I, of course, don't have anything that's super cute, like bunnies, like my friend, Ty here. But what I do have is my new honey bunny, if you will. This bad boy is a TC Electronics. It's backwards, but it's TC Electronics. It's a BH250. This thing weighs 4 pounds, and that is the amp. It's got all the fancy stuff. Maybe I'll do a review on it later. But yeah, got to use that yesterday for the recording, so that was really cool. Just plugged it in and hit record. Didn't even really mess around with it or nothing. Because it's got a DI out, which is a direct input. So basically it goes straight from the box straight to the PA system, and then we listen to it back in headphones, in-ear monitoring, yada, yada, yada. But that's, that's it. Was looking at the summer. We're, the band's booking pretty much 3/4 of the months of summer. Like
Nice.
every 3/4 of the weekends.
3 out of 4 weeks?
Gonna be a busy summer.
It's going to be a busy summer.
Oh yeah, dude. It's awesome.
With I haven't checked our COVID numbers around town. I imagine they're growing a little bit like everywhere else. I know you. The only reason why I bring it up was because you were saying the other day that you guys are like a real big hotspot right now or something.
Yeah, Massachusetts is this was like about maybe a week ago. Massachusetts is number one in the U.S. right now for COVID cases, and then I think percentage wise, overall population versus cases, and then Cape Cod is the highest in Massachusetts because of the new strain of Brazilian uh,
Hmm.
COVID-19. So
So what's that resilient? Like I guess I haven't been following the news close enough. What's this one? I knew there
Brazilian,
was. Oh, Brazilian.
a Brazilian strain.
Oh, okay. Because I knew about the UK strain. They said that's like the main one we have right now, but or had, and
Mhm.
now you're saying that there's this one that is from Brazil that's more resilient. Well, I guess I could kind of understand it because of like everything in America is held to higher standards and sort of like has to be super clean and stuff like that, and where there's that not applied, like third world. I wouldn't say Brazil's third world country because they produce a lot of coconut oil and everything else, but like it's not like the same standards as the United States. So I
No,
could see
no,
something
its
more
government is
progressive coming.
not as
Yeah,
which is sad
Vigilant.
to say.
progressive
It's not as pulled
growth
together
wise.
as the American
Yeah,
government is, which is sad considering if you really take a hard look at our government. But
yeah,
yeah, it's not really, nobody's really handling it well anyway. There isn't really any place out there that's really got a grasp on what they need to do 100%.
no.
Everybody's just trying to get the vaccine
I
out
guess
as quickly as possible.
I hadn't heard about this version of the
Well, I don't know if
strain yet. So
maybe I shouldn't say it's a Brazilian variant.
I
I
don't
want to
follow
just
the news very closely though, so
Me
I
neither.
want
I
to,
it
haven't been.
very easily, like I could see that happening. That's why I was agreeing with you and
yeah,
saying,
it is a
I could see
Brazilian. It
it
is a
more
Brazil. I just wanted
resilient.
to double check that I read it correctly. It is a Brazilian variant of the.
Yeah.
The reason we have that is because we have a high population of Brazilians that come to Cape Cod. I don't know why, but
Ah, close to the coast,
we
maybe.
are
I
a
don't
coast.
know.
360
True.
degrees.
Yeah.
It's an
360
island, so
degrees.
it's a man-made island. So
Oh, you guys.
it's
Oh, okay. I guess I had not realized that or had forgotten
yeah.
that
I'll show you real
that
quick.
Cape Cod was known.
Um, I'll show you real quick so you can
Oh,
actually
yeah.
see here. So back in the 30s, I think it was. Um, Back in the 30s, the engineers, Massachusetts Corps of Engineers or whatever, were trying to devise a way to make the travel instead of having to go around. You see around here to go around to go north, or to come from the north to the south. They had to go all the way around, kind of like what they did to like the Panama Canal and what's that big one that just had the ship over?
Wasn't that the Panama?
No,
That's
no, it
like
was
the main.
the other one. It's like it's the busiest
The
canal,
big one
man-made canal.
isn't that Egypt? Your
The
Egypt,
Suez Canal or whatever it is. I forget.
the one that
But
got
anyway,
clogged by the cargo ship.
yeah, I got clogged by that one cargo ship. Well, they had the same idea back in the 1930s here, and they made this man-made canal here called the Cape Cod Canal, and that separated this whole island. So this is all now is where I live down over here.
So it's an artificial island. That's what you're telling me.
Yeah. So it's an artificial, it's man-made island, but yeah. So this whole canal here was dug in the
That's
1930s,
pretty cool.
and we got
Self-proclaimed.
2 bridges. That's it.
That's kind of shit you see in Batman movies where they block everybody in, raise the shit bridges, don't let
Yeah,
anyone air out.
yeah. Like Gotham when they pulled the bridges on Gotham. If you took out 2 bridges on Cape Cod, it would be fucked. It'd be about 20, 25, 200,000 people. That would be 200,000. Yeah, I think it's 200,000.
Well, I hope your guys' COVID cases start dropping here pretty soon. With
Yeah, I mean,
it's
I got my
spring,
first
so
shot. I have my second shot coming up on next Friday. This Friday. This Friday.
how
Yeah,
did
it's
you
this
feel
Friday.
after getting the first shot?
It knocked me out. Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah,
I had a bad reaction.
that's what my wife just I don't know, she was super tired after that. Everybody that I've known has just been like super tired after getting it,
No,
which is one of the main things I've
this
heard about having COVID.
this put me in the hospital for a couple of days.
Hmm.
Oh, it
With my
did.
asthma. Yeah, it was bad. I'm not sure I'm going to take the. Um, wasn't sure if I was going to take the second one,
Damn.
but my doctor
Yeah,
says I
that's
should. So
damn. What was the
with my
what they
asthma and
end up?
everything, so they
Oh
kept me IV ventilated, all that stuff.
shit, that's not fun.
Mm-mm.
Oh yeah, that's the main thing I remember from when I had COVID. Was like there was a while where if I did anything, I mean, I was just like instantly winded, just super tired, like just felt exhausted, like I just ran half a mile, and I was maybe chasing one of the kids around the house for 20, 30 feet, and then it's just like, whew, that was not fun. So I was wondering if like the feeling from the shot was kind of related to that, but that's, I mean, that's no bueno. No bueno at all.
Yeah, it's pretty rare, but problem is if you have underlying conditions. Um,
So like asthma would put you in that category, basically.
that was one of the reasons. Yeah, but I think it was also I wasn't taking care of myself and eating well. Didn't have wasn't taking. I had no vitamin D in my system because I hadn't taken any pills and vitamin D pills in like a month leading
I've
up
been
to it.
since the kids were born, like I switched to whole milk, and I was never a whole milk guy. But with that being the only milk in the house anymore, that's where I get a lot of mine from.
Yeah, you should
Just
still take pills. You should have your vitamin D checked because that's one of the doctors said that's one of the things that makes fighting off the coronavirus easier. Zinc, vitamin D. He said the vitamins are like he doesn't understand why they're not talking. This is the emergency room doctor. He said not. I don't understand why the news isn't talking about it. Fauci isn't constantly on there, preaching. Take your vitamins. Take your vitamins. Take your vitamins because it's such an important thing, and your body won't generate enough vitamin D on its own. That's why, like, we need to go out into the sun. You need to, you know what I mean? Like, if you're not going outside at all, if you're just working, like I work nights, so I don't really go out much during the day. Go to the store or whatever. I might go for a walk, but it's not enough
yeah,
to just get it from the sun and just generate it. So you need to take a supplement and make sure that you're eating a lot of foods that will give you enough to supplement that vitamin D outside of just like milk. Because you'd have to drink a lot of milk in order to get enough vitamin D
oh
for a
yeah,
day's worth of regular, what is it, recommended daily dosage of vitamin D.
yeah. That's the other thing is that majority of the time we work outside doing like a whole
Yeah,
bunch of like underground trenching, and so that helps a lot. And with mushroom season coming up, I get to have the joys of sunburn and ticks and all that fun stuff coming back. Not looking forward to ticks. That's definitely ticks and gnats and all the fun things that come with summer. I
oh
was
yeah,
mowing my lawn there last week and had a bunch of gnats bothering me. I was just like, man, I can't believe that they're already here. Like it feels like
So
no time at all.
early.
Yeah,
we've been
but
on
it's
a no
nice.
burn ban for a while now because it's just so
You guys
dry.
not got much rain?
Mm-mm.
See, like we've got rain. We've got a really good amount of rain. That's why I'm so excited for the mushroom season this year, is because it's just been absolutely perfect. It's been a whole lot of like 60 and 70-degree days and fair amount of rain. Like this last rain we got was probably a little bit excessive, but that's going to really soak in because it was really dry for like a couple weeks before that because it had rained a whole bunch just like this. Hopefully it doesn't, go dry after this. It's just going to be planting time and all that
We've been in
as
the
soon as this gets
80s
done.
2 or 3 days in the last week. Like
Mm,
for this time of the year,
that's
I don't ever normally
it's
have it.
warm.
So
Yeah,
Yeah, I think we've been
yesterday,
in the
I had to
60s.
80s.
have I had to have an air conditioner or two air conditioners in the studio running full blast on both sides. Well, one I run the dehumidifier and the other one I run the air conditioner. One to bring it in and one to suck it out and take the moisture out.
There you go.
Jesus.
So it was
That's yeah.
comfortable. It was comfortable up there,
That's,
even when it was
Yeah.
hot. It was comfortable. I was happy. Trust me, we were up there for like 4 hours or something stupid. 5 hours. And when you're up there and you're just sweating, you're just like, ugh. It makes nothing fun about it at that point.
Hmm.
But yesterday it was nice and comfortable. So I don't know.
Nice.
I can't believe that it's
Yeah.
just been so warm lately already. And I know as soon as we start to get some rain, the grass is gonna like shoot up. It's already like all the tulips and everything are starting to bud already and are starting to grow. And usually it's not for a couple more weeks. Usually it's April showers bring May flowers, not the opposite.
oh yeah, that's what. There's these things around here that grow in the hills. They're called bluebells. They're like a little short flower grows up out of the ground, and then the end of the flower hangs down like this, and it's a whole bunch of like bell-shaped flowers, like blue. But they pop up, and I can't remember. They look like a little umbrella. I can't remember what the name of the flower is. Uh, when those two things are like fully matured, basically the bluebells are just absolutely everywhere, and you start seeing a whole bunch of those other little umbrella flowers. Then mushroom season is in full swing, so it's gonna be pretty awesome. I'm really excited. We might go like during mushroom season. We might talk about doing the like noontime podcast again if possible, because that'd be like the
Yeah,
best time to. Because I
that's
do
fine by me.
like the all day endeavors for those. I get pretty far into it.
That's fine
I
by me.
pack a lunch. I go out in the woods, grab a bunch of bags, and like if I fill a bag, I'll just like set it down in a place where I can grab it on my way back and just keep on going. Like I said, lots of
That's awesome.
ticks, lots of
It's kind
hiking.
of a lot of
I'm
fun
ready.
though.
I'm excited. Oh, it's a blast because all the extra mushrooms that I get, I end up selling to everybody who doesn't want to go out there and just tromp through the woods and get bit by ticks and possibly Lyme disease and all that fun stuff. So it works out pretty good.
That's awesome.
But yeah,
Yep, I know you're excited about
yeah,
that.
it's just
That ginseng.
we'll see. Ginseng's in the fall
Yeah,
too,
right. The
and
opposite
so
one.
like that's
Yeah.
yeah. But the only downside to that is it's just, especially spring and fall, they're so busy around a farm, and Dad needs extra help around that time of year, this time of year. So, like, I've been helping him a lot. But again, I'm gonna be making it pretty clear to all of them because mushroom season's only, like a month long. It also goes into, the busiest time of the year. But I don't know. I got to get my mushroom hunting in too because that's like my main thing that I only do this time of year. My brother's actually turkey hunting tomorrow, so I'm not working doing electrical. I'm going to be working with my dad on the farm, helping him finish up the planter, which we've completely tore apart and been rebuilding. And I just got to say, people who design corn planters and bean planters and all that stuff, they have a lot of stuff going on up here because there's so much going on. Okay, like you look at a planter, you see the box, you see like the thing that goes down in the ground that plants it. You don't realize that there's like 50 components that go between the three different things that are actually the bottom part of the ground and going back up into like where the tank is, and then all the things that lead up to the tank. That I mean, ridiculous chains and just different hoses and electrical controls and just all this stuff. And it's wild. It's pretty cool. But, yeah, it's been a lot of fun working with my dad doing that. Learned a whole lot. Can basically repair and do everything to that planter now, which feels pretty good. So kind of excited about that. But
Well, that's awesome, huh?
yeah, that's my farmer slash Midwestern stories for the week as far as all that. Oh, one more. We were talking about bowl. Sometimes you're the bowl and sometimes you're the sock.
Right?
This Mister here was almost the sock there a couple of weeks ago. Actually,
Uh-oh.
this was last week, not a couple weeks ago. Last week, we had to get the bowl. Like we were doing a big vet day where the vet was coming and he was treating all the cows, and we had to get all the cows up, get them sorted, and then we were turning the bulls, the little baby bulls, into steers, and then giving everybody shots. And then we had to give all the cows shots and everything. We also had to prepare the bulls for turning them out to the pastures. They know what time of year it is. They know it's about go time, and they're getting very anxious. Typically, a couple of our bulls that are not very aggressive, uh, we went to go work them. We had to move them down, like out of their lot, down an alleyway, around a corner, get them loaded on a trailer. Like this is all, sometimes you're round in tight little corners that are just wide enough for a bull to walk down. And both sides of them are like pressing on the boards as they go down. But yeah, these bulls decided a couple different times that it'd be funny to run us over the fence. That's just me saying the words run us over the fence. I literally was like feet on the ground 5 feet from a bull as a 2,000-pound bull turns around, lowers its head, and says, "You're going to go that way." Because I'm trying to make him go that way. And he says, "No, no, no." He says, "Look at me. Do you see who I am? You go that way." And you go that way, or you get ran into, and that's 2,000 pounds. That's a car coming at you with its head lowered. Like, not good time. So it took like an hour to get them loaded into the trailer. And when I did, I had some words I said to the bulls in celebration and anger. And they were locked up. But vet came, gave them the shots to like get them ready for the summer so all the bugs aren't getting them and don't bother them at all, because like pests and bugs like that are a big issue, especially with cattle. And one of the bulls, he had like a big long stick that had a syringe on the end of it, so he didn't have to actually get his hand into the trailer. My dad was making fun of him, giving a bunch of crap, but I don't blame him because these bulls are pretty aggressive. Like I said, they're ready to rock and roll. They ripped the thing out of his hands, and we had to spend like 5 minutes trying to use like a wire to get the syringe, big long syringe, like pulled back up, and we ended up getting it and finishing the job. And I got the crap kicked out of me and covered in cow crap, and it was a good, successful day. Nobody got hurt, so it was a big win. Got a whole bunch of stuff done. Been busy. Like I said, getting prepared. Tomorrow's going to be a big prep day. It's just spring rush is coming. Around here, everything's going crazy.
Yeah, they're starting to get the fields started around here too. I've noticed here in the last week or two, everybody's starting to come alive, But then we got snowed like the one day last week or the week before, whatever. It was like 80, and then 2 days later it was snowing. It was weird. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I remember when that happened because it was 70s, almost 80 around here, and that was like Friday, Saturday, Sunday cooled off just a little bit, and then Monday when I went to work, I went and worked with like a long sleeve T-shirt and a really nice like thick sweatshirt, and it was like 40 degrees. And we had to work out in the middle of the field, and the wind just blew and blew and blew. And it's like my face was so windburnt by the end of the day. It was just, that was terrible. It was a very long day. It was 9 hours standing out in the middle of a cornfield, laying pipe and pulling wire and everything else. And yeah, not fun.
Working outside is a whole different time frame than when you're working inside. That's for sure, because it seems faster and shorter, and you feel like you never have enough time. When you're inside, though, you feel like time drags on, and you have too much time. Yeah, that's what I always felt like when I was on the working on the farm and doing that kind of stuff is just you never have enough time in a day to get everything done.
There's so much to do. That's why, like, when we say we have a successful day, we just got a bunch of stuff done. That's it. Like, we just got a bunch of stuff done. And there's just never ending things to do. I mean, like that same day we worked the cattle, I broke down, worked on 3 different small engines and put them back together. And in between working different groups of cattle, and I mean, it's go, 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 sit down for half an hour. If we're really lucky, we get to go sit down and have dinner with my dad, which is like a rarity, which is a lot of fun. We go to a little small town diner. We got some meatloaf and potatoes. This
Nice.
last time we went down, get a small town diner with meatloaf and potatoes. It's just so good. I mean, and especially on it was raining the whole day. We were working the cattle, so it was a cold, rainy day. It worked out good. It's a good time.
That's what I want to do when
So,
I
yeah.
retire. Just be a cook at a small town diner like that. It just makes like good old home fashioned food.
Oh
know?
yeah,
Just
dude.
be
That's
that
some of the
old
best.
man in the kitchen that's just sitting there making, biscuits and gravy and eggs and bacon and sausage, all that good like
You guys are
hearty
making me hungry.
I wanted to have like an old school diner like that when I was like in my 20s.
Hell yeah. See, they're a rarity anymore, and I mean, I love them. I love them. It's one of the best things when you can go to those little small town diners and get some of these meals because there's some of the best meals you'll ever have. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you guys ever had a sandy mash before. You know what that is?
Nope.
No,
It's
if you have a meal that has sand in it in Cape Cod, you're not going to eat it.
it's called sandy mash, but it's I've heard that it's called like a hot pork or a hot beef because they'll use roast beef or they'll do pulled pork, and it's like a pulled pork sandwich, just on like standard bread. And, like they don't toast it, they don't do nothing, and then they put a big dollop of mashed potatoes in the middle. They cut the sandwich in half, put it on either side of the potatoes, and then cover the whole thing in gravy. And it's like roast beef or pulled pork sandwich, and
Sounds pretty good.
it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Like that's a small town diner thing that we have around here. It's just like whenever they have it. My mom used to make it when I was a little kid, and I haven't made it in a really long time. And I mean, they're awesome. If you're into that sort of thing, they're so good.
Sounds
It's
good.
just
I love
absolutely.
pulled pork and roast beef. We go to this restaurant out in the town next to ours. Like we haven't been there in probably a couple months now, but we've gone out there like 2 or 3 times, and they have such great pulled pork. It's like pulled pork with mashed potatoes and some other stuff. But like you said, there's just something about that hometown feeling, that taste. You go to McDonald's, it's going to be okay, but it ain't going to be the most amazing thing you ate all day. You might get a
Right.
smaller portion of something somewhere else, but you're going to get way more taste and full on what you eat and what you're presented with. I love going to like the local restaurants and stuff a lot as well for breakfast and lunch. We have a Chinese buffet that we went to Friday night. Did I eat so much?
Did you go to
So
the
much.
one we went to? I'm fucking jealous as hell.
Yeah,
That
dude.
place was so good.
I went
Oh,
up. We went up with our neighbors just because we had to have a reason to go, and oh man, you got to get the plate and you got to make it this tall. My daughter's just like, Dad, that's a lot of food. I'm like, it's only 8 wontons. It ain't no big deal. I got wontons and
man, that
fried
place makes me
shrimp
want to
and
drive 10
fucking.
hours.
I got, I got egg rolls and I had fried rice and lo mein, General Tso's chicken, peppered chicken, peanut
Oof.
chicken. Oh, I had some sweet and sour chicken on there with the sauce, and I thought about getting a Diet Coke because I was trying to be healthier. But I went ahead. I went ahead and got the Mountain Dew anyways, just to wash it down. And then when that didn't work, I had to wash it down with strawberry ice cream.
That always works.
But yeah, there is something about local establishments. Um, My daughter when she was still in the wife, I remember I contacted my wife and I said, hey, we need to go out to eat. I want to take my daughter out to breakfast, and she's like, really, seriously, Jamie, because she was still in her. I'm like, well, you're gonna have to come, but I'm taking my daughter out to breakfast. So yeah, so
You
she
can't stay home on this one.
yeah, so she came.
No.
But then when the kid was when she finally got a little bit, past the first initial stages of, babyhood, and she could like be out and be able to eat a little bit of stuff, she was out with me eating breakfast all the time. We do shots, the creamer shots. Uh, since she was
Finish
since she
that
was like
sentence.
2, 3, man, we open them up and then we tap them and then we take our creamer shots every time we go anywhere and they got them. And
That's awesome.
that's what the kid and I have done forever. And so I was always taking her out to breakfast and stuff. Uh, have you had bangers and mash? Have you know what bangers and mash
I used
is?
to make them. I used to make them at the British Beer Company.
Well, I'm curious to hear what you're going to say about that, but I'm asking this guy here real
Oh,
quick.
sorry.
So bangers and mash
Never.
is now you take over. TJ.
Oh, well, you want me to explain what it is?
Yeah. I mean,
It's a
I'm very
British-
curious. Bangers
It's a
and mash
British.
sounds
It's a
pretty good.
British dish. Bangers is just a type of sausage, and mash is like a potato cabbage mixture with some other ingredients in it, depending on the recipe. But yeah, it's a traditional British dish. It's really good. Like the mash portion of it is a little weird at first. The first time you have it, especially if you're not fond of cabbage. I love cabbage.
My wife's mom uses it in like everything. We use it on like tacos all the time instead of like just lettuce. 'Cause it's firmer and it lasts longer. It doesn't go soggy, and it is crunchier. But I've just became accustomed to it. Like you can cook with it, like what we're talking about here. Like it holds up its firmness. For the
I
most
love
part,
it.
Where
Halushki, all that
it's
stuff.
good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the bangers and mash, it's like basically, the stripped down version. You can take regular mashed potatoes and your cabbage, put them together, mix them together, or separate them, whatever people are into. And then there's particular sausage links that they use, but you can use any of them. But it's when they're
And there's gravy on top too.
Oh, and there is gravy, but the cabbage is usually dyed red, like purple.
Yeah, it's a purple cabbage.
Yeah, it's the purple cabbage.
Mhm.
So, yeah, the first time you look at it, you're like, what is that? And then when you start diving into it, you're like, are you going to eat that or can I have the rest?
It's pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome, man.
So I think of that. Now I think of the Sammy mash or whatever. That sounds
Candy
delicious.
mash, yeah.
I want one of them like now.
Oh, you know what you could do? You could take grilled peppers, onions, and sausage, put them into a sandwich, right? You cut the peppers really thin, like on a mandolin or something. Fry after you've cooked them, obviously. Cook them most of the way through. Slice them thin on a mandolin, or just with a knife. Cook the peppers and onions. Throw the sausage in to reheat them or to finish, because you need to cook them first if you're going to slice them like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you slice. I'm just trying to work this out in my head as I'm thinking about it because I have a picture of it in my head already. So take that, right? Take that sandwich. You made a sausage pepper and sausage pepper and onion sandwich basically with like thin sausage. Throw it in on a big thing of toast, right? Like a big thick piece of like Texas toast. Throw that down. Throw the mashed potatoes on top, or the mashed potatoes on top of the toast. The sausage pepper onion mixture on top, and then hit it with a nice thick gravy, like a nice thick brown gravy. Bangers, a Texan bangers and mash.
Sounds really good.
Oh, I'm gonna have to try that. All right, I'm gonna work on that one.
I just grilled one of the nights that my wife brought home. It was pretty nice out, and it wasn't supposed to rain until the next morning. And so I asked her to bring home a whole bunch of pork chops, and I got the charcoal grill out. Hadn't used that since last fall, and just had enough lighter fluid to get it going. Got her going, and then the rain came, and
Oh
so I had to
man,
end up opening up the porch. Had it on the porch, but I was just making pork chops on the porch. They turned out so good. We finished them off the next
porch
day.
chops. I
But
like it. Porch chops.
just pork, just straight up pork chops. Had some spicy, spicy seasoning salt to go with it. I don't even know. It was like it just said spicy pork seasoning salt, and it was really good. And I
let
ended
me
up.
ask, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say we had green beans or brown sugar, bacon, green beans, and then scallop potatoes and a couple other fun things to go with it. That was just
Making me feel like I have to go to the store and go get some supplies to grill on my grill because I cleared off all the boxes that were covering it. You know, from Amazon and stuff from all the winter and last year because they all piled up behind my grill. So now my grill has a clear access. I should probably break it out and make some food.
There you go.
Mm,
there's nothing like you. There's like you can cook food so many different ways. And it's always good.
mm.
But there's
You want
something
to?
particular about charcoal grilling. Even
Mhm.
grilling on gas, even is it's just like there's something about grilling meat. It's awesome. Personally, like I like charcoal. I like gas so much too, but the charcoal leaves a signature flavor, and that's why for
Yep.
Father's Day, fingers crossed, I'm getting a pellet smoker grill.
Ooh,
That
Traeger.
is like combo. What's that?
Or get a Traeger. Oh, those things are badass.
Uh, all I know is that
Or
like
any
both
of
my
them, really.
brothers have one. It does like everything. You can do big chunks of meat.
Mhm.
Like you can do you can make pulled pork and you can smoke it in the thing, and it's just you can get that like put that thick glaze on it, get that real thick bark. So when it's all done, that bark on the outside is all crispy and crunchy, and the inside the pork is just ripped apart, just super tender. Oh yeah, yeah. How hungry is everybody listening right now? Because
I'm
Oh
extremely
this
man,
hungry.
guy right here,
tis
All
the
right,
season.
I'm feeling it.
you want
Tis
to be
the
even
season.
hungrier? Okay, so this is how you cook your pork chops. All right.
Oh,
So take your pork chops, right? Nice thick 1 inch bone in pork chop or bone out. I like the bone in. Just take
I
that
like
pork
that
chop,
one.
right? Get that skillet nice and hot. Give that thing a little olive oil and a nice big old glob of butter. Throw that in, melt it nice just till it starts to foam a little bit. Take that pork chop, throw that in there, get that nice and seared on both sides, right? Take it out of that, take the cast iron pan off of that, throw it in the oven, finish it off cooking in the oven. It'll be the juiciest piece of pork you've ever had. But before you serve it,
Mm,
take it out, throw it back on top of the stove, throw in another couple of knobs of butter, some thyme, or not thyme, rosemary and garlic or scallions or shallots,
mm,
and then just baste it. Put it at an angle and just baste it in that butter, that melted butter. It is so fucking good, dude. It's so good.
mm.
It's
Jamie,
like the
Jamie.
ultimate pork chop.
I'm telling you, and that's what that's pork. Pork is just so amazing.
So good.
One of the guys that I have in the Snapchat group is he lives in Dubai, and like he plays the other game that I play on my computer, and he's like, yeah, man, we don't eat pork over here. Like we just it's one of those things you can't eat pork,
Religious,
and it's like
religion,
yeah,
right?
and it's just he's Muslim, and he he was telling me that like he's really cool, honestly. Like I say he's from Dubai, and it's in Dubai they're as close to like an American Muslim as you can really imagine, because like they have a lot of our same um, things that we have over there because it's Dubai. It's like one of the biggest, richest cities in the world. So, they have a little bit of everything. Of course, they have a lot of stuff from all the other countries there, but, it's normalized compared to, a lot of places where we've been fighting war for the last however many years. I'm not trying to talk about any of that, but like it's pretty crazy to think about the fact that like of never having pork. The way that we keep talking about all these different things, and it's just like bacon. Can you imagine not being able to eat bacon? Think
We're
about that.
we're done
folks.
here. We're done. We're done.
Bacon.
No bacon? No way.
I could give up bacon, but I couldn't give up sausage.
Mm.
Bacon, I could
Couldn't
give
give
up.
up sausage.
I couldn't give up either
Vice
of them.
versa.
So
I'm not a big bacon fan.
Spicy sausage. Spicy sausage.
Nice,
Jamie, how
nice
bad you
Italian,
dying right now?
nice Italian spicy
oh my
sausage.
goodness, ma'am. Spicy.
Well, hey.
I'm not talking hot spicy sausage, peppers,
No, like
onions on a
like sriracha spicy.
9-inch bun
Hmm.
with some mustard, ketchup, and hot sauce.
Maybe. Oh,
Yeah, no, it's definitely.
This hurts. This
I'm
hurts.
just. We're going from being in, coronavirus lockdown pandemic mode to everything's trying to get normalized again. Everybody's trying to get vaccinated, and I'm so excited for this normalization of everything going back to the way it was. It never will be completely the way it was, but at the same time, it's going to be nice. We've been going to a lot more different like barbecues and stuff like that. We went to my in-laws barbecue there a little while back, and that was absolutely awesome. We got to have some sweet corn. It was from Walmart. So it's not like the sweet corn grown around here in the summer, which is just you can't compete with it. It's just so good and fresh. But like we had that on the grill with the little thin, I can't remember exactly what it's called, and I should know it, but off the top of my head, I can't remember. It's the thin belly steak of a cow. And it's like he soaks it in lime and onions for like 3.5
Flank
hours
steak.
and like a beer. Huh?
Flank steak?
Yeah, but they call it something else. They call it
skirt steak, probably. It's
Yeah, but they're
flank
Hispanic, so
yeah, there's a bunch of different names for that cut.
it's all on the tip of my tongue. I want to say it starts with an R, but it definitely has an R in it. I cannot remember the name of it. But it's so good. All it is like he toasts tortillas. They got this big old bowl of hot sauce, guacamole hot sauce, and he sits there and he throws tortillas to everybody, fresh off the grill, crunchy and hot, fresh steak to everybody, and you just you build your own tacos basically the whole time and drink beer, and I get absolutely stuffed and blasted and just it's a great night. Every time my wife's like, "Hey, you want to go down to my parents?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, yeah."
Might be a hanger steak
kids.
too.
Let's go. What's that?
It might be hanger
plate steak.
Yeah, flank
dude,
hanger, skirt. I had to look up hanger because I couldn't remember what the name of that one was.
I am really looking forward to grilling
so
this year. One thing that I've decided that I'm not gonna probably do this year is put in my big garden, because I have a lot more other things that I'm really trying to focus on right now. So I'd much rather just focus on them things this year, than to be trying to go out there and weed and all that stuff for the stuff. But I am going to still maintain my onions because they do a great job of maintaining themselves. I have 2 types of onions out there that are growing from last year. I got red onions, duh, and then I have Egyptian walking onions. So those are. Have you guys seen those? Did I ever tell you guys about them?
I don't think so.
Did I tell you about them, Ty or TJ?
I don't remember it at least.
All right. So I could let you Google it if you'd like, but I will. But I will get started. So this guy at work, he's like, "Man," he says, "You like onions?" I'm like, "I love onions. I love them a lot." And he's like, he said, he says, "Well, these onions I have at home, they're kind of different." He says, "But they have bulbs on them." I said, "Okay." He says, "So you think of the bulb on the bottom, and then you think of the shoot or the shylight, whatever you guys call it, and then on top of it, after a certain point, they grow bulbs on top. So because the bulbs are, so heavy when they get so big, then they fall over and they replant themselves in the ground. When they hit the ground, they hit the ground and then they just bury themselves down in with their roots, and then they that's where walking comes in because they keep going." So he gave me like 2 or 3 clusters And each cluster had like 6 to 10 or whatever little bulbs on them. So I spread them all out. So now I have quite a few of them. But yeah. So
It was awesome.
aside from that, TJ, what are you thinking about these Egyptian walking onions that I told you about? You're looked up.
I
I
looked them up as
didn't
well.
actually look them up because you were telling
Wow.
it. So
I did. I looked them up, and they look awesome. I seen the tops you were talking about, and I could see them getting heavy and just, and then like falling over 6, 8 inches, whatever. And then the next year they just keep going. So I could see what you're talking about with the walking onions, and like with a whole bunch of them around, they could just start spreading like wildfire. Like that's really cool. What's the flavor profile on them? Are they like a standard onion? Are they
They're
like a red
to
onion?
you can eat the bulb, you can eat the shy light, whatever it's called, any of the bulbs and stuff like that. From what I've experienced, um, the shoots on them or the green the stem, whatever you want to call it, those taste to me as much like green onion as you can. They're not bitter, they're not sweet, they're pretty close to the same in my opinion. Um,
Hmm.
and the clusters, they're not going to be big, but they taste similar to like a white onion, in my opinion. Um, but yeah, they're not spicy. They're not much of anything, but they're reusable, and you can eat every ounce of it, and they keep growing, and it's just amazing that
That's cool.
that I got those from this guy at work. And then the other thing that I have is a blueberry bush that's like this big, and it's got one green stem coming up now that's growing this year. So I can't remember if it's in the now or if it's in fall that you cut the seedling off, you put it in like some little regrow stuff, and then you plant it in the ground. And
I'm the guy to talk to about that.
correct.
So yeah, rooting, rooting and cloning. What you're talking about, you could actually do with the branches you want are the ones closest to the bottom, which was is like a rule of thumb, just because the branches closest to the bottom have the most rooting hormones in it. So like that's the only reason there. But with fresh shoots like that, it also is just as good. All you do is you get some, like, on Amazon, it's like $12. You get some rooting hormone. You can go to any of your local, you know, hardware stores and everything that sell gardening supplies as well, and they sell rooting hormone. You can cut willow branches and strip the bark off of them, soak them in a glass of water, dip that thing in there. Willow branches have a really high amount of rooting hormones in them.
Hmm.
There's multiple different ways you can do it. The biggest thing is when you do it, you have to have the proper conditions. You can't just root it and set it in a windowsill. You have to have a humidified environment where the leaves are able to stay alive and be constantly drinking in water, producing roots for that stem and stuff. So like a little small dome, which they'll also sell at that hardware store, wherever. And it's really easy to do. You'll have failed attempts, but it's easy. Uh, when you go to make multiple attempts, the first attempt's always super easy because it's a brand new, fresh dome. When you have, third, fourth generation clones, you have to make sure that the dome is absolutely 100% sanitized before you go to do that. Otherwise, mold will grow on the leaves and on everything else because it's just a humidified environment. Perfect environment for mold. It has to be sanitary
So how would
for
you
the most
clean
part.
out the dome to re-sanitize it?
A little bit of hydrogen peroxide and water mix in a squirt bottle. Just wipe it down.
Hmm.
Hydrogen peroxide is not harmful to plants in that situation.
I know I talked to this guy at work, and he always says to make sure whenever you plant new plants, he said it's beneficial to put Epsom salt down. Is that something you've heard or?
I never have went that method exactly, just because salts in the soil create issues with roots absorbing certain things. But it all depends on what we're growing here. See,
That
like
would make
it's
sense.
a lot of, like, all the plants are different, and so they all require different things. Maybe certain trees and bushes require salts because that's what they thrive off of. But in my experience with salts in the ground around roots and developing roots, is it makes it to where the salts build up around the roots and crystallize around them, to where it can't actually drink it. It can't absorb any of the nutrients from the soil around it because there's too many salts. So it's a very fine line. I imagine some is good, but just like with fertilizers and everything else, you don't want to burn it by putting on too much. So that'd be a Tread
Probably,
lightly.
probably
With
look it up
applying
online
salt.
and see if they have a proper
Very much so. Salts,
ratio.
yeah, salts and ash are things you got to be very careful applying because they have a whole bunch of negative of pH and stuff like that. Different. They have a lot of effects that bother the soil a lot. So a little, like I said, a little bit's good. Too much is bad. So
Yep. Again, I don't know much of shit about it, so I always love learning about it. That's the way it goes. And you have so much experience with that stuff that
few
it's
years of it, you know, organic growing experience.
so. If you and TJ here were to create a food restaurant, uh, holistic, if you will, what would you guys, being partners, uh, what would your guys' main dish be? Starting with your idea first, TJ. Obviously, it would be, you know, delicious because you cook well.
Honestly, I want to try. I want to try to make that Texan bangers and mash. I've got that on. I've got that on my list of
Really good. Yeah.
stuff now.
So then I would say to you, Ty, how would you embellish on his Texan banger mash idea? Would you go like corn, regular or sweet or cream, or what would your sides be?
That's a good question. Well,
Because
since we're talking like a Texas style bangers and
yeah,
mash here, you got to keep some of the Texas style sides in there. So you got to have the not the refried beans, the baked beans. You got baked
with the
beans and
brown
bacon. You got to
sugar
have
and
a little bit of
bacon.
that as an option. Because like a real creamy meal, the way everything's combining together, it sounds like that would be something that would pair with it well. Uh, so that's one. Man, like you said, the corn, that's good. But do you go with cornbread because it's Texas
That's what
style?
I
Do
was.
you
When
go?
I was. That's what I was gonna say instead of Texas toast. Is as soon as he said corn, I'm like, oh, you could do a Southern style with cornbread
With
instead of
cornbread.
Texas toast.
Yeah.
As the base, do cornbread as the base because it's so thick and so
Mm.
holds up so
Ooh,
well.
Oh, it would be
ooh.
so tasty.
Just like you make like a really thick, you make like a really thin pan of cornbread instead of like the big one. You make a thin pan of cornbread, right? Nice and dense, and then you throw that. You put a nice big fat wedge like this big on the base of the plate. Throw down. Oh, dude,
Oh
dude.
man, that
Why?
sounds so.
Why?
So
Why are we doing this? Because we hungry. That sounds so
oh,
good, man. That sounds so good.
Oh,
They're opening up a barbecue place here. When I went to Chicago a couple years ago to our buddy Ron's wedding, and I got to meet Jerry Jasper and Justin Pipkin and those guys. We went to a few barbecue places when we went down to Missouri, and then we got a place pretty close. Probably about a 10-minute drive from here. It's just like it used to be an old ice cream store. Now they're going to be making it into a barbecue joint, and I am
mm,
so excited because there is just something about barbecue food.
mm.
oh, hell yeah.
Spicy, normal, honey, smoky. I
Mm.
mean, you
Well,
name it. And then like and then we're just talking about like sauces on the meats. We're not even talking about all the sides, all the different variations of the sides, things like what we were just talking
The
about there. Like
beer
certain
and
restaurants
the
have
tea that
specialties.
goes
Oh,
with them, the wine, the beer. And
oh,
these are things that
uh,
I've missed through COVID. Just that I'm glad are
yes,
making a comeback.
very much, and I'm very ready. Uh, sorry, go ahead, Jamie. I was cutting you off
Oh,
there, but
no, I'm just saying I'm
uh,
just so ready for that. It's going to be so good. Mm.
we used to go to
uh,
Texas Roadhouse every like we try to do it once a month. We did it twice, and then COVID hit. And I mean, it's been so long since we've been back, but that's a really good place to go. It has all these things like what we're talking about. We have free ice cream for the kids. Like they got all sorts of stuff. COVID has probably changed a lot of that, but we got to see. We got to try again here sometime soon.
I uh, I went out to breakfast for the first time and since COVID hit, and the waitresses there, because I was going there like every Sunday morning. I'd go have breakfast, and then I would go do my laundry. So it was a ritual. I was there at like 7:30 in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning having breakfast, and the waitresses all knew me and whatever, and they'd be like, "Hey, you get the usual." Da da da. So I go back, and they're like, "We were just talking about you. We were so scared that that COVID got you because we hadn't seen you in forever." I'm like, "No, I take care of my grandma. I can't really be out. I was in its height, but now that I got my first shot and I'm past that, I feel like I can come out here." And
Oh, heck
yeah,
yeah.
they had their whole counter. They had a countertop that had like 6 or 7 seats. That's where I would sit at. And um, they had it down to 2 seats because of the distance and all that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, it was just nice to actually get back out and be able to go do something that was like normal over a year ago.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's things like Texas Roadhouse. It's literally one of those places that like you're sitting in a booth with your family, and directly behind your seat is another family in a booth, and
Mhm.
on the other side of them, so on, so forth, etc. Like that place is one of those places that's just it's packed all the time, and it's because the food's so good. And
Yeah.
appetizers, I mean, they got like the bloomin' onions, which is they
Oh
chop up the onion,
man.
Mhm.
fry it, put the sauce right in the middle of it, like Southwest or ranch, whatever you want.
The
They
onion
have Texas
petals.
Roadhouse is
Thanks.
very famous for they have a specific honey butter, cinnamon honey butter that you can put on their sweet rolls that they bring you as like an appetizer. And it's like it's unmatched. I mean, it's literally just it's so good. You want to just sit there and keep eating rolls the whole time. It's like when you go to a any type of Italian restaurant that has really good breadsticks, or any type of Mexican restaurant that has really good chips and salsa, and you just start craving it, and then yeah, you overindulge, then you don't want to eat the rest of your food. But I do have a story about that as well, if you guys are interested about
Well, yeah.
almost overindulging. We got our first date night in over a year there recently, wife and I. Her brother and his wife offered to watch our children and like overnight. So we decided to do a date night. You know how weird it is to have 3 kids and be in the routine of taking care of them every single day, just nonstop, and then having a night with no kids at all. After years of it, it's wild. We had an absolute blast. We went out to town. We had this nice little fancy dinner, and on the back of the menu, I seen it was one of those Mexican style like pestle and mortar bowls, but it was just like the bowl, and it had like some meat in it with like some salsa and some other cheese and stuff on top. And I was like, "Hey, that looks good. I want that." The guy kind of smiled, and he's like, "Okay." Went and brought it out, and he brought me a plate. It was a whole plate that had like salad, refried beans, and the rice. And I was like, "Okay." And he's like, "Here comes your food." They brought it out on a board. It was like this big. And, it's literally, like almost a foot wide by like a foot and a half long. The bowl itself stands almost like a foot tall. It is just enormous, loaded with chicken breast, steak, more chicken breast, and more steak. And shrimp. Sorry, there was shrimp on top of it. Then they had their signature red sauce on it, doused in this cheese. It took me 45 minutes. I weigh like a buck 70, buck 75, and it took me 45 minutes to finish this mountain bowl that was so hot. Like they brought it out on a board because it was so hot that the cheeses that were running down onto the bowl were like sizzling and cracking and burning. So you like the whole time you're eating it, it stays perfectly fresh and hot, like you just came out of the oven. Like it's one of those experiences that's just like I've never had it before. We've all had tacos and just different Mexican food. This
Mhm.
bowl, this signature bowl, that is like it's a Mexican traditional bowl. I guess my wife was telling me that her dad goes and gets one with her brother when they go up to Chicago to some place that's like even bigger than the bowl I got. Like
Wow.
one person cannot finish it. It was awesome. Great date
That
night.
sounds awesome, dude. That sounds freaking good.
So much fun.
Well, that
Good
sounds
time.
delicious.
Yeah, I imagine date night, is weird when you have three kids because last night we had no kid. Our daughter was staying with friends, and the wife and I, we went out to eat and to a local bar and had some kind of burger, Baltese or something. I don't even remember. It didn't matter. All I know is there was mozzarella cheese on it. There was like tomatoes, basil. Um, yeah, and the French fries were like these Parmesan garlic French fries. And they were so good,
Mm.
so good. Then my brother got the meat lovers pizza. He come down and met up with us, so he got the meat lovers pizza, and we still have part of that left. I've been chewing on that all day. Every time I get an opportunity, I'm like, might as well. It's here.
That is what-
Um, yeah, it's just crazy to think where we were a year ago at this time and the way we were talking about it all. And now here we are, like talking about going out and doing stuff a little bit more again. It's pretty awesome.
I
oh,
can't wait.
Yes, I can't wait just for some more normalcy as it slowly trickles in. Uh,
mm,
One thing I wasn't sure if I was going to bring up or not, but I am going to bring it up because it meant a lot to me. This past week, I got presented with an award at work called the Healthcare Hero Award. Um, uh, the Health Foundation and the Pittsburgh Penguins are like, they're combined for some different foundations and organizations, um, and so they had this really nice certificate and letter of recommendation for my nomination, and it was written, really well, and it meant a lot to me. I did put up a couple pictures on my Facebook this week of myself and some of the people that presented it to me at work. Um, it meant a lot to me. This past week, I feel like a brand new man. It's been so great. I mean, I've told you guys about it, about all the about
You deserve
everything.
it, man.
oh,
But
absolutely.
it was so crazy, and you know what? I'm gonna get it. Hold on.
Yeah, no, it was pretty awesome to see the smile on his face when he had it.
Oh, heck yeah. He was telling me about it, I think, like the day after he got it. He was telling me about it. And I was just like, man, that is just
Well, it deserves it.
absolutely
I mean, he works
awesome.
really hard, you know.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Let's
So
see it.
this email serves as our nomination of Jamie Dare, as not as nominee as our healthcare hero. Jamie is a supply specialist for our materials management team. Jamie is always a positive, enthusiastic coworker and contributor, but this was never more apparent that during the pandemic. At a time when every other member of our healthcare team experienced anxiety and concern about their health and well-being, Jamie stepped forward and volunteered to serve as the primary supply specialist to our designated COVID units. Jamie underwent specialized training on donning and doffing PPE to serve the clinical team caring for COVID patients on the third and fifth floor. When most hesitated or stepped back, Jamie stepped forward and did so with conviction and enthusiasm. He is an individual of extraordinary resilience and positivity. He favorably impacts those around him. He embraces his role and his purpose in ensuring that the clinical frontline healthcare workers have everything that they need to care for the critically ill cohort of patients. Jamie's presence and support on the COVID units help to ease concerns of the clinical team and thereby allow them to focus on their patients. Jamie began his healthcare career on August 28th of 2017. He was referred by a fellow employee and former coworker to apply for the position. In his true Jamie style, he crushed the interview and came across extremely well, and we knew we were hiring a very good person and strong candidate. From the start of his position, Jamie quickly and fully engaged in learning his new responsibilities. He is an expert in operating our software applications. Jamie is one of the hardest working, sincere, respectful, and professional employees I've had the pleasure of working with. He brings much positive energy to our team, is more willing to help anyone that needs assistance. He takes much pride in being able to help someone in need. He's got the customer service component that all organizations look to achieve. On a weekly basis, Jamie tells me, I just love working here. Did I ever tell you that? Jamie is a true team player and role model, and I can't thank him enough for all he's done with making the PAR areas operating at a very high quality level. He's taken on servicing the COVID PARs with great courage and support, greatly impacted the new tower setup and overall process improvements of the materials management function. I can't say enough to express my thanks and gratitude to Jamie for all of his efforts. He is very fun to work with, and his engagement has positively impacted the rest of our team and his customer base. Thank you for your consideration.
That's absolutely awesome, man.
Well, that's the first time I read it and didn't cry, so that was pretty good.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah,
You deserve it. Every word of that is, man, I know.
Dude.
Oh yeah.
It was wild. I did not see that coming, and for all the people out there that I work with, thank you guys so much for helping me achieve all that. Because without you guys, I wouldn't be able to do anything myself. Even though they said it was me, it was more than just me. It was our whole team and what we have achieved together. On good days and bad, and super proud to be a part of it. Super proud to have been nominated for that. Thank you to the people out there that nominated me. It means a lot. So
Oh yeah, man.
I don't know what
That's
else
awesome.
to say, without getting all corny and choked up. But I did get I'm sorry. Let me rearrange. Let me retry this again. So. This past week, my wife got a new sweatshirt. It's a Pittsburgh Penguins sweatshirt with the number 20 on it, because the 20 is not an actual player on the team. So they made Dare the number 20, and they have Dare on the back of the sweatshirt that they were kind enough to make for my wife. That they presented to me with this award to give to my wife. And a hat. And
that's cool.
A Starbucks gift card. Yeah, so congratulations, my love. Way to go. Congrats on your new sweatshirt.
That is awesome.
I saw it the day I got it, and that was the last time I saw it. She's like, oh, did you get me a sweatshirt? Sure did.
Even personalized it for me. Thank you.
Happy Mother's Day. You've done great.
I see a thumb coming around the corner.
That's the kid.
I like your new hair. I know it's only a transition stage.
Most people, when you ask them how you doing, they're like, I'm okay, in between jobs. They're like, Jamie, how you doing? I'm like, I'm okay, in between shows. Christ, I think we've played like 6 times already this year so far. We're just getting started.
It's awesome,
That's
man.
awesome. Yeah, you said it's going to be a busy summer.
Yes, sir.
Oh.
Yeah, it's going to definitely be busy. Speaking of which, I hate to cut it short tonight or anytime, but if there's anything else you guys want to bring to the table, I would love to hear that. If not, I'm going to...
Had a great podcast. I believe that we've covered some very great topics. Everybody needs to... everybody listening, get ready for summer because here it comes. Get ready to start cranking on that AC like what Jamie was talking about because it's right around the corner. Enjoy this while we got it because it's going to get hot.
And prepare to have multiple foodgasms this year with cooking out and, going out and stuff again.
Have a couple drinks, having a good time.
I'm so ready for a barbecue. Last week was nice because it was Easter, so we got to do the family thing and got to eat some food. But I'm ready for the BBQ. So with that being said, just wanted to say, take care of yourselves out there. Stay happy, stay healthy. Don't be afraid to live your best life, even if it takes 22 years to overcome something. At least you overcome it one day. Till then, stay happy, stay healthy. Don't be afraid to live your best life. Deuces.
See y'all.